Hey everyone, I am Phoenix Tremaine, and this is my review of How to Get Away with Murder. I already put my review of Empire and Scandal up, so hopefully you'll enjoy my How to Get Away with Murder review. I watched both shows with a friend of mine. You can hear him in the background on my Scandal review, but that was yesterday. Today's a whole new day. And first, I want to say please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Please subscribe, please like, please support. If you enjoy my videos, I'm going to keep on doing it. So just need your support. Subscribe and watch and tell folks, share. Shoot. Let them know there's a good reviewer on YouTube, that hopefully will make you laugh, smile, mad, something before it's all said and done. So, How to Get Away with Murder. First, I'll talk about Scandal. Yes, I've done a Scandal review, but it's kind of hard to talk about How to Get Away with Murder without mentioning Scandal. Scandal is on season 5, and the problem with that episode was the predictability. You already knew the characters, you know their motivations, you know what they will do, what they won't do, and unfortunately the Scandal formula was very obvious. That's why I was able to predict everything happened throughout the Scandal episode. With that said, How to Get Away with Murder, it's only season 2. They only did 15 episodes. Then I think they're going to do 15 episodes now, so Viola can do movies and stuff like that. And it was much better. Even though the ratings for How to Get Away with Murder were slightly lower than Scandal, it was actually a better show because you don't really know the characters. You can't say who's going to live, who's going to die, what's going to happen next. Of course the main characters, you don't expect them to die, but they could. Some of these students, I'm not too attached to. If they died, I'd be like, okay, that's a twist, but I wouldn't be upset. So, the episode, basically, I'm going to be jumping around. I'm not going to go scene by scene like I usually do, because so much happened, and rather than drag it out, I'm going to be talking about specific characters. Let's talk with Wes. Alright, to me, Wes being an asshole was 100% out of place. Not because he wouldn't really be that way, but because he just got away with murder. He killed Annalise's husband, and now he comes to her. Whether he was trying to protect his girlfriend or not, he committed a murder. The murder was covered up. It was successful. The show's called How to Get Away with Murder, duh. And then he comes into class with an attitude because the chick who he was so obsessed with last year has disappeared. And the thing is, she more than revealed that she really didn't give two shits about him. She was just using him. She was just manipulating him. And then later in the episode, he's like, well, I'm over her. I'm not pussy whipped or whatever he said. I'm not over her. I'm over her. I'm moving on, which is the title of the episode, It's Time to Move On. And his arc pretty much brought him back to Annalise. Whereas they've always had this sexual chemistry. Will they, won't they? Ever since he walked in on her having sex with Nate, I thought they were actually going to have sex last season. But he was so obsessed with that girl that became his whole world. So now she's dead, so it looks like that Annalise will be fucking him, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. So there's a new murder case, and as usual with How to Get Away with Murder and even Scandal, I don't really care about that case of the week. You're developing characters as a soap opera, and the case of the week can be very distracting. This one wasn't a one and done episode of the case of the week. So we saw in the flash forward that this case is going to go on and on. I guess throughout the season, at least for 2 months. And so we got a murder case. The murder case is basically these two adopted siblings are accused of murdering their parents, and the eyewitness is their aunt, who takes a stand and says what she saw. Um, Now, when they already have lawyers, so they don't need Annalise and her team. So Annalise decides to sabotage the other lawyers so that they can get the case themselves. So what they do is they come up with this video of showing her in, like, I think a day spa salon or something, and they rigged the time code, which they knew the prosecution would learn of, and that, it would really hurt the lawyer's credibility. So when it happens, like clockwork, the lawyers look like they were tampering with evidence, and so they have to find new lawyers quick. And that's when Annalise is there, like, okay, here I am. I'm the best lawyer in town. And then they say, well, you're accused of murdering your husband. And she's like, well, I'm free, aren't I? That's all you need to worry about. so her thing is, look, I can get you off for murder. What's up? Like a pimp. There's this other shit with Michaela in this Eggs 911 shit where she's trying to find out who Rebecca, I think that was the girl's name, who Rebecca was texting before she got killed, which was this Eggs 911 person. So I don't know if it's going to be actually somebody we've seen already or if it's going to be a brand new person. But hopefully it's somebody new. We need some fresh faces on the show. And the fact that she's poking the bear is going to come back to haunt everybody. I really don't think she should have done that. She should have left well enough alone. And we also got introduced to Famke Janssen's character, Eve Rothlo. Now, by now you've already seen the memes or heard the spoilers, but my friend, if he was here, he could have testified all this scandal. I just predicted. But I kept getting this vibe between Annalise and Eve. And I said, are they lovers? It's just like they're close to the way they are to each other, their cryptic conversations. I was like, they was fucking. So later on the episode, when Annalise is upset, guess what they do? They fuck. And online, there's a really cool meme floating around out there because on Empire, one of the line of the nights was Cookie saying, telling Nika you can't even dyke right. So now there's a new meme that says, Nika, take notes. Annalise will teach you how to dyke right. So, that was cool right there. The world was introduced to PrEP. I mean, if you're in the gay community, you already know what PrEP is, Truvada. It's what you take to a preventive measure of not catching HIV. And they're having Connor and Oliver have this actually very adult relationship. I mean, that's an adult problem. And they're handling like adults. Before, Connor was like a hoe. And now he's like found out that his on-again, off-again boyfriend has HIV, and he's sticking by him, and he's loving him, and he actually moved in without telling him, but he's like, showed up at the door with boxes. I'm moving in, which Connor was like very happy about. The shenanigans to get the case, I already talked about that. Now, Annalise has this other scene that was interesting. Throughout the episode, they were trying to figure out if Wes killed Rebecca. And so what she does is she invites him to the house and she's cooking. And she gives him a sharp object, turns her back, like, she's preparing something. And she's waiting to see if he would try and attack her. Which he doesn't, of course. Because the murderer, drum roll please, turned out to be Bonnie. Now, to me, this was not a very good reveal because, both her associates are, Frank and Bonnie, are just murderers. And Bonnie did it for Annalise, and they had a cryptic conversation like, I did it for you because you would do it for me. So did Annalise kill somebody for Bonnie? So this episode had lots of questions, but that's something to think about. What was Bonnie talking about when Annalise was like, "You're a monster now. You committed murder." But that's all Annalise deals with. So, and then you know when Eve talks to Nate and she doesn't want to take his case. Especially when we now know that they were lesbians or whatever, and she realized that they were having this relationship and stuff. She gets mad and decides she doesn't want to take the case, and so Annalise goes over to her house. She's all upset and shit because she just found out Bonnie is the one that killed Rebecca, and so they start kissing and making out and shit like that, and that was the big lesbian reveal. I already talked about it, but that's when it actually happened in the show. Because when Annalise gets upset, she either needs some dick, or now we know she needs pussy, or whatever's the nearest thing she can grab. If Wes was there and he was willing to bone her down, he would have got the pussy. So, in the case of the week, which is now the case of 2 months, the only witness there, the aunt, gets killed. So that's like, in the trailer for the season, they said the body count's just starting to rise. So we got the first, technically, second murder of the season. And then we find out that Asher is working with the prosecutor to get information on Annalise about her case. And she's blackmailing Asher with something that he did or whatever. So I never liked that character. If he's one of the ones that get bumped off, I don't care. He's really out of place. He was never part of the team. He was never part of like the murders that happened. So he's not really an essential character. He was fucking Bonnie. Now they're on the outs. So, and now she's a murderer. Which on this show is not a big deal. Now, there was a scene that was really out of place to me that I'm going to talk about. It has nothing to do with, I had a brain freeze. She just won an Emmy. Annalise took the kids to a rave, and it just didn't look right. Because some people said it was a club. No, it was a rave. That's why you saw people with blue wigs. You go to a rave, you get high, you party, the music's banging, and you just lose yourself. That's what a rave is. It's usually held in like a place, abandoned building, just something underground, a basement, something. It's usually a secret location because it's illegal. And that's what they did. She took him to an out of the way place, and she started dancing with Wes because all of them were kind of like grumpy about the shit, except for Connor. And she started to dance with Wes, and I got that feeling again, like she's still trying to get that dick, and she's trying really hard, but it just felt really out of place, not for Viola Davis. Yeah, I just remember her name. Viola Davis's age, but her character is just all over the place as far as like who is Annalise, because it's like she has multiple personality disorder, and it's like you think she's one person, like heterosexual, and then okay, she's bisexual, and then she's like helping murderers get off, but then when Bonnie kills somebody for her, she's like, how dare you, you monster, and then she just like with her students, she keeps them in line and she whips them in shape, but then with Wes, she's walking on eggshells. So Annalise is all over the place, and but it was actually a pretty decent scene. But it brings us to the last scene where she's talking about the people who betray you or whatever, and then she says your lover, and you see a gunshot from a window, and then you see Wes running away from where the shooting was, and then when they pan in, You see Annalise on the floor, shot in the stomach, bleeding out, and she's just breathing really hard. And it's like, oh shit. Now we all know she just won an Emmy. You know, she ain't going nowhere. She's the star of the show. I'd be really shocked if she didn't recover from being shot. Um, and I really don't think Wes shot her. I could be wrong, but it just seems too obvious. You know, maybe he's running to get help. That'll be the twist. I don't know. But, or maybe she told him to run and then she was left there and then she got shot. But if it's Wes, then I think it's bad writing. But if it's not Wes, then it's a good red herring. So that's my review of How to Get Away with Murder. I liked How to Get Away with Murder better than I liked Scandal because it was a little more twisty, turny unpredictability. I really hope Scandal gets back to that oh shit must see TV. But in the meantime, we have 15 episodes to enjoy. How to Get Away with Murder, Viola Davis performance as Annalise Keating, and all of her students, and all of the madness that they're having fun creating. The greatest thing about How to Get Away with Murder, because it's such a new series, it's not as easy to predict because they haven't hit that creative rut that Scandal has. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoyed some insight. If you have any comments or anything, feel free to comment on what you thought about the show. I would love to hear your thoughts, what you thought. And I will talk to you soon. I have more reviews coming. I don't know if I'm going to do one for Once Upon a Time in Quantico. I refuse to see Blood and Oil. I know that's going to be one of the first shows canceled, in my opinion. It's not going to be a good replacement for Revenge. That's what I keep saying. But, Empire will be back on. Scandal will be back on. Hell, I'm even thinking about reviewing the Muppets. So, which is, so far my favorite show of the season. And, enjoy your day. And, hopefully you enjoyed this review.